Right. Welcome back. We are back live
Yes.
on our show. Let's look at this with your host, Dr. K, and my co-host, Minister P. We are on a new time schedule, which is good to be. This is right on time. Ain't it? This speed is right on time. This that way we ain't got to be wiping that sleep out of our eyes. So,
Okay. Yes.
oh
Yes.
yeah, oh
That
yeah.
means a
So
lot.
it does. It does. So I've had some projects going, but it's be and and gotten enough of them out the way, I should say. See, I feel rusty. It's like I got to shake off some dust,
You've
that
been busy, man. You've been busy.
yeah, yeah. So, but I'm glad that we're back here on this platform. It's been a lot going on since we've been away. Uh, so where do you begin? You know, where do you start? Where do you pick up that? How do you sort things out? Where do you pick up the pieces from? So, we'll start with picking up pieces here. Our 8 points that we have to always stick by.
Yes.
That's one, speaking politely. Two, pay fairly attention to what you buy. Pay fairly for what you buy. Three, return everything you borrow. Four, pay for everything you damage. We got a lot of damage going on, but nobody's paying. Five, do not hit or swear at people. Six, do not take liberties with women if they don't allow you to. That's that old Trump. Yeah, we can call them all out. To me, they all guilty.
Come on
Right?
now.
He might have had a little vision blurred with slapping somebody on the behind, but did nobody see it? Neither did he. But that's another story. Number seven, do not damage property or crops of the poor, oppressive masses. And number eight, if we ever have to take someone captive, try as hard as we can not to harm them, but that's a whole other process in itself. So, but yeah, go ahead with yours, Minister P, if you still got them on deck.
Yeah, we got the ethical codes for us. Number one, integrity, doing what's right when people are around and when people are not around. Number two, unity, together we will achieve. Number three, objectivity. Listen, have a vision and go forward. Number four, confidentiality. Listen, if someone tells you something, that's between you and them. That's nobody else's business but you two. Number four, number five, and the last of our ethical codes is growth. Look for personal growth, look for community growth, and look for cultural growth. That's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that growth is a must. Without that growth, it doesn't put you in a good position. And that growth, of course, means mentally, which in turn is thriving to your spiritual. So, and then very well, and you're very versed on that subject, Minister P. Be talking about that spiritual, but that mind is very influential in getting into your spirituality,
Yes.
being able to grow and understand what's happening around you and where do you put yourself and how do you deal with things in life. There's again, we mentioned there's so much going on in society, and it seems as if there is no accountability that's being met with what's happening. It's almost like the old, remember the old cartoon, you flip them and then it creates a cartoon. that's how,
Oh
that's how
yeah.
they that's how everything is flashing,
Yeah.
just flashing thing. It's flashcards. This thing is just boom, 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 boom. And then there's no pause. That's reference to say, hey, oh, hey, let's stop and see if we can figure this thing out and see what's happening in front of us before we can just flip to the next subject or the chapter in our life. But that's another subject at hand, but that still ties in as reference to our topic of today. That goes in hand with for the right price, Minister P. Finish that off for me, if you will. For the right price, you would do what? That goes along with somebody asking you for the right price. What would you do for the right price? Would you just do anything, or would you just be accountable for what you? It's if to be somebody is to put that in front of you, are you going to be accountable for what you are going to partake?
Man, I
So,
like that. I like that statement. That statement right there is so deep. For the right price. This is what I would do for the right price. Dr. K, here it is. I do the right thing for the right price. And see, the right thing for us is everything that's established in our moral culture, our core value, what we stand for. See, you find out what a man or a woman stands for by the fruit that they bear and the words that they say. you know, listen, listen. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Okay, so if you sell your soul for the right price, then that means you have absolutely no values at all.
yeah. Selling your soul for the right price, you definitely have no value of yourself. And then and that goes into what type of code are you upholding? And what type of standards? Uh, what type of integrity that you have? Do you have
Exactly.
any integrity to be doing things as such? And just to real, because I don't want to forget about that. Minister P, what we talked about for the right price. Now listen to this. We're gonna and then we'll go in and tell me what you feel about it. And pay attention to the background. You got to filter through the background noise to hear the the, uh, the announcer or the commentator.
Okay.
See the defensive standoff between him and Jose Alvarado in the gym. Like, I want to see that go down big time.
The guys hurt some again. Look, they're loading up that wing. So there are a number of different options they would. But you're looking at a
2020
Here we go.
NBA draft. The San Antonio Spurs select Jeremy Sohan moment for Jeremy
from
Sohan
Milton
and his
Keynes,
family.
England,
Hey, Perk,
and
would you guys
Baylor
hear that?
University. You know what? For the right.
You hear that? If you paid close attention, that was the former NBA player, the young boy. I can't remember the name of the young sister who was on the stand there broadcasting with. She had asked this gentleman, that the young man that was drafted, the ninth pick in the NBA draft, would you dye your hair that color? And he said, for the right price. And then he said, you know what? He changed his mind. I'm gonna play it back, and so it's hard to hear. But then he said, well, for the right price, I'll just do about just about anything.
Yeah, I want to hear that part right there.
Let me see if you can catch it, because it's hard to hear.
In the 2022 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Jeremy Sohan moment for Jeremy
From
Sohan
Milton
and his
Keynes,
family.
England,
Hey, Perk,
and
would you guys hear
Baylor
that?
University. You know what? For the right.
I'll try anything to be honest with you.
With you, yeah, that goes a long way. I'll try anything, to be honest with you. I mean, now who are you broadcasting that to? That goes back into dealing with us as the people, in reference to how we deal with each other, as reference to what we say to each other, and how we go into society dealing with people. And it's like, how would it be if I'm being on national television and somebody asks me a question, whether it's in a joking matter or not, but it's still in the form of somebody's asking me something seriously now.
Right.
And then you go on and say, well, you know what? Despite what you just said to me about this hair is what they're talking about, I'll try anything. I'm willing to do anything for the right price. And then I mean, now who are you broadcasting that to?
Yeah. He said, I will try anything, quote unquote, I will try anything for the right price. Yeah. Dr. K, I'm like you, man. Look, listen, number one, there's two things we have to be accountable of as black men and black women, or just people, period, in this world, in this human race. Two things. First, we're accountable for our words. Then we are accountable for our actions. Listen, what you say out of your mouth, that's what you are. That's what you become. You are known by the words that you speak out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Then you become your actions. You are the man of the action or woman of the action that you display. You have to be accountable. And like you said, on a national level like that, you're speaking to hundreds, even millions of people.
And then to of course that was, we had to play it, but I mean, people watching this was not late in the rounds of the draft. This was 1 through 10. This is the 9th pick. So mainly your viewers, you get the bulk of your viewers are viewing at that time. You get the bulk of the showtime. That's showtime. So people watching and they're listening. And to make a statement like that is reference to, well, hey, I'll for the right price, I'll try anything if you put it in front of me. And that goes a long way to me, because so for somebody to ask you that and you giving a rebuttal answer to that, then of course they are going to tend to judge your integrity and your character based off of that. I mean, that's not a joking matter unless it's just you just joking around. It's one thing to be joking and to be serious. One brother said it best. He said, us as a people dealing with black people, he said, we joke when things are serious. We joke when things are serious. But we're serious when it's time to be joking. Now, look at that. Just think of that. When things are serious, we're laughing, joking around. Ha ha! Look at that! Look at that! He fell off the bridge, or the car flipped over. We're laughing at something serious. But when it's time to be joking, that wasn't funny. It wasn't harsh enough for me to be laughing. So that and going into reference to what that was is why my topic, because that before that had been on my mind and been weighing on me, because we are in the height of another political year here in Illinois, which it's a lot that's going across the news flash about riches. Remember we talked about that. Remember I mentioned Ken Griffin?
Yeah.
How he'll be doing so much. Before he even came out, I was talking about that guy. I mentioned that guy. I mentioned that to a whole bunch of people. Said, hey, nobody's paying attention to this guy. Now he's making all this noise, threatening to leave Chicago if he don't get his way. His hand is all in the gubernatorial race. He's buying politicians all over the place.
Oh, he has left. He has left Chicago.
Oh yeah. So
it's official.
So that's showing you. Now it's crazy, but it's how they will try to force our hand and make us do something for the right price. So what is the price? There's these different parties, whether you be Democrat, Republican, independent, left shoe, right shoe, left field, no field, middle field, infield, deep field, no field, upside down field, and what somebody come to you say, for the right price, would you vote for me? That's where we're at now. This is going so far and so far into so many different lanes in reference to this statement. For the right price, what are you willing to sell yourself for the right price? And if you have integrity, your answer should be say for nothing. I'm not willing to sell myself for anyone for the right price. I'm not for sale. It would take more than that to buy me. I mean, in reference to what's happening now in society, I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think there is enough money to buy off the pain and suffering that we have seen in society. It's just not enough. They couldn't put a blank check in front of me to where I can even fathom a amount to be put on that check. I mean, it's just so much that's been taken away, as we talked about on our platform. There's just so much that's been withdrawn. They give us little tokenism things here, like right now. We get a day of the Juneteenth, but then the rest of the month is, the rainbow month. So, and again, I don't throw ill will on somebody that wants to practice that, but that doesn't equate with the suffering that I've seen and been through. Just doesn't add up. So I can't be in a mindset of saying, well, I'm proud of, because what I do behind closed doors. Who cares? Who cares what you do behind closed doors? That's none of my business. That's my point. That's the problem. The reason why we don't have business is because we're too busy minding someone else's. I don't know, Mr. P.
Well, let me, I'm glad that you brought up the June 19th celebration. You will, after today, you will never hear out of my mouth, I will not call it Juneteenth. I will call it just what it is, Black Independence Day on June 19th. That's what it is. It's not going to be shortened or abbreviated or compromised or marginalized by Congress, cut it short. No, it call it what it is Black Independence Day, and that's what it is. And it happened on June 19th. So no, you won't hear that out of my mouth anymore. So when June 19th comes, Minister P will always call it what it is, Black Independence Day. See, what's happening when they shortened it and they don't call it Black Independence Day, history is kind of erased a little bit. It's like, okay, we can just smooth right over what really happened, and just make it a day of parades and celebration and barbecues. No, it is a day of reckoning. It's a day of Black independence that happened, and it must be addressed. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to get that out to our brothers and sisters, our friends, and our supporters, to always look at it in the full light of what it is. It is Black Independence Day, and it is to be recognized as such because of the amount of trauma that we went through, the pain, the suffering, the blood, sweat, and tears that we went through. We need to call it from what it is. I remember they used to do this, Dr. K. Instead of saying Christmas, they put an Xmas there. Stop that. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Call it for what it is. Call it for exactly what it is. And so I'm glad that you brought that subject up, and we got that subject on out the way. And that's how I feel on that particular subject. Is Black Independence Day.
Yeah, that is Independence Day, and it's Independence Day to be more as I see it. You're right, Independence Day, but that's a day that we should come together to more of a harvest ceremony to say, hey, Minister P, what have you developed all year? And you say, well, I developed wheat, corn, so just say in this example. And I say, well, I developed some leather. And then we come together and we celebrate them. And then this is how we congregate our people together to say, hey, look what we developed to carry over and out into our community. So that's definitely part of that independence celebration that we should be really having, not just more or less, oh, it's a day off and let me go get my grill out and wave a flag around and that's it. Although that's the day of harvesting of what you've done, the accomplishments that you've done as a community.
Man, I like that, what you just said. And then too, I like it to be a day of just what you just said, a day of interdependence, where we interdepend on each other. Like, what do I have to bring to the table? What is it that you have? What can I lift you up with? What can I promote you with? I like that. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so we
Yeah.
continue to put that thought out there, man. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah. You definitely have to put the thought out there to be so it start resonating
Yep.
within our minds, and we get to understand what's happening around us, and to really start to congregate and get a community based initiative on what's happening and what's happening to us, because they'll surely sell something in front of us, especially because we got this box, this square box in front of us. They'll sell us something on there, and we tend to gravitate by the eye because they show it so much. It's a routine. So as they show it so much, we get indoctrinated into what we should be. Hey, you should be doing this. Hey, you should be doing that. You know, so it's always like they're training you. They're in the training session.
It's been that long struggle. That's why we're still in the struggle of becoming more independent of this type of system that's in place right now. We all know the struggle. So we are becoming. I'm so glad about shows like this and others that edify, empower, and encourage and educate us on becoming more independent. That's what's needed. And then becoming interdependent on each other. That's necessary. So we are becoming that.
Right. Oh, yeah, we're definitely becoming or trying to become independent. We just gotta get ourselves in the speed off of that. If we get off of that train, of again that training cycle. You know, every time election time come up, that's when we get tuned in, and we think it's almost like you go back into kindergarten, right? And you say, okay, guys, you bring your favorite toy. So it's like I got a show and tell now. So that's how the voting process is. Hey, look, everybody, I got a button. I vote. Look, I voted. Now they didn't, that's one of them run-on sentences that they didn't finish. I voted. They need to complete the sentence. I voted this is in my eyes. I voted for what? Not for a price. Yeah. But even though I can pay for a politician, we put our money together, we can go buy a politician. This is what Ken Griffith is doing. He's buying politicians. He's not putting on a sticker and saying, hey, look, everybody, I voted. No, he's saying, well, my money, see that money over there? That's how I vote. Because as soon as I pay for that politician, now he's accountable. He or she is accountable for what I need them to do for me. And they have to pay attention to how I move now. That's just like this situation where he's moving. Now, I'm surely that's a huge financial threat, because now his jobs, and of course, not to say that, the CEO of that company that he owns will probably move with it.
Oh yeah.
But that's going to the lower jobs. Somebody, janitor, they'll be out of a job if they don't move with the company. And half of them can't move with the company. So they stuck looking around for other. It's just that simple how things work. That's why it's for the right price. We have to pay closely attention to that, because if somebody is asking us that, then how are we to ask that to, as we said, a politician? For the right price, what would you do, politician? For the right price? What would you do for the right price? Are you in a position for this amount of money, would you be backing us? Well, it's just that simple when it comes to being able to afford, especially when you have a moral code and you have standards. Your standards are so high, it can't even be reached. It can't be reached when you got high moral standards. You can't be touched. Nobody can move you. Nobody would even look at you to even ask you that question. Because they said, well, no, hey, standards too high. Why even ask? Pay for the right price. So
because they know for the right price, then you'll do the right thing.
Right.
See, that's always the answer to this question. For
Yeah.
the right price, what would you do? The right thing. And see, so how do we develop this understanding of what the right thing is? And so this comes really from our home training. Listen, everything comes from home.
Yeah.
You are first, you're not trained in school first. You're trained
Right.
at home
Home.
first. Home training. And it's homeschooling. And so that's where moms and pops come in, and grandmas and grandpa, you know, they come in and they teach a child what their values are. They teach a child what their direction is and what their purpose is. So you can always answer, I'm gonna do the right thing.
Yeah, and this you are very optimistic about things because we know that child always tend to stray and go left field and be tainted by materialistic things, things that can be taken away and things that can be placed back into their hands, but they want to keep a high level of intensity of material things. So some of our people tend to or have jumped over and steal today. That we mentioned that I mentioned that statement before, manuus towards manumission, meaning that I'm willing to be rewarded for doing something well for someone else.
Okay, repeat that one more time.
Manuus towards manumission.
Man, love it.
And so that statement there, and there were actual laws back in the late 17, early 1800s to where if a black Negro at the time they would call them would be rewarded for saving a white person's life, doing something that can be rewarded telling on a black person, or doing something that would please something. So that statement for the right price, that goes hand in hand with that, because that means, hey, yeah, I'll do them in. Sure, what you want me to do? Oh yeah, for that price, yeah, I'll do it. So this rewarding thing has really haunted us up until this time, because we're still in that rut. We're still in that movement to where, hey, there's a batch of us that would surely turn their back, turncoats. Let's just call it what it is, a turncoat. So I would surely sell this person out based on, because, hey, well, I got to keep my standards of living high. So it's either me or you. We have to get out of that. My thing is, why is it that we have to be such the ones in that position? There's no one else. Not saying there's no other groups that do that, but we do it at a higher level. We've taken that to a higher, because they put us out on Front Street for the most part on doing things like such as that, being able to be turncoats to our own society. This is like in this election that's coming up. You have so many blacks.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, all of them. Whether it be for the Senate, gubernatorial, all of them, all the seats. Now, if you look at the faces, you have almost, we'll say it's safe if we say 75 to 80% of blacks running for office, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these blacks, and then we do a timetable and go back, and we say, wait a minute. We've had blacks be in office for a long time, have we not? Correct me if I'm wrong, Minister. Have we not had blacks in the past be in office? I mean, at a high level, not small numbers. I'm talking about big numbers that they've been mayors, governors, different places, councilmen, senates. They've been everywhere. Presidents. So now, all right, since we have that, now let's pay attention to what somebody that looks, as I can see myself and you can see yourself, and we say, well, all right, since we had that many to be in office, let's go out and start to pay attention to the condition of the people. So if the political levels are high, as reference to having success in that, how come the conditions of the people are down here? when you think they would be up here if it was a high level of blacks being elected to high elected officials, that the conditions of the people should be almost at high level or above? Because that means to
Now,
say, well, I'm a political person, I'm gonna push you up. As I go up, you go up. As I go up, you go up even higher. I'm the push force to push you up higher, not to say, well, no, when I get the president, that's as high as I can go. And well, we're gonna push you down all the way down. But we'll let 10 years go past and well, a few blacks run it, but then 10 years later, let 100% blacks run for office. And then the conditions of the people are flatline. And but then they show you that say, hey, well, no, see that little group over there? They got nice houses. They look at Minister P, look at Dr. K, they doing okay. But then we look outside and looking around us, start looking at the unemployment rate high on our end. That's the main thing. You start looking at the reference to ownership of businesses, major businesses now.
Yeah.
Not some little small little mom and pop stores.
Mhm.
We don't I had a situation now that I'm dealing with some being fortunate to be in a position to be able to have extended property and trying to better the property. I'm looking to get extended equity in the house, and they won't even extend that to me. Equity now. They won't even extend the equity to me because they say, oh, the condition of the home. I said, well, if that was somebody else that didn't look like me, would you had to prove them faster or give them a hard time by, it was the small things that was not even that can be fixed overnight. And they gave me a hard time for that. Why? Because they're the ones on the other end extending the loans, giving out the equity. So we have to pay attention to things of that nature before we can say, well, hey, well, no, things seem to be on the up and up. I said, well, I surely don't see it that much. I might see a small percentage of it.
Yeah, we see some of it, but the point is we really have to get more blacks in office. It's just that simple. Where it counts, where it really counts. Listen, there's the House and there's the Senate. How many blacks do you see in the Senate? Because see, the Senate is the one that makes the laws work. See, we have some seats in the House. Yeah, but where it counts, where the power is, where the punch is, the Senate, you see who's in there.
Oh yeah.
You see who's in there. And that's where we need to be. Yeah.
But real quick, we may get we can keep going on our radio end, but our video end may dump us. It says we have less than a minute, but so if it goes off, we'll just come right back in on our video feed. So they may push us out, but we can keep going on our radio end. But our video session may kick us off for a quick second, but that's not it's just a little technical. But we'll fix that. But other than that, we'll just keep going once it kicks us off on the video side. Okay. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Mr. P. That is that's definitely what that should be.
And so and so then it goes back to the pillars of any society, which we always talk about. And remember, that's health,